Let's start. Actually, let's start at the oldest. What is the oldest unfinished work in progress song I have? All this stuff was finished, unreleased. Cats demo. I mean, dare I listen to this? There's no way this would be released. This was just a. Well, that's interesting. That's because it has a live audio, whatever magic thing. If I do that, it doesn't make a difference. Okay. Well, this wasn't the point anyway. I mean, I'm so far away from being able to record live instruments that there's almost no point. This is definitely an experiment though, and I don't think I can listen to this double tracking anymore. This stuff, Jazz intro, Jazz credits, I mean, this is finished. I mean, why would it be released though? I mean, I guess it's been released in the sense that it's in the videos. Did I actually record an ending for this? Or write an ending for it? I don't think so. Why would I? The whole point was that it was going to fade out. Jazz theme itself. Is that what I called that track? Twinkle? I did the same thing in Every Star in the Sky. All this other stuff. I mean, they're all unreleased technically, I suppose. Where is it? Album 1. I guess this would be the songs that I would want to put in some sort of album form, but I could maybe work on that. That's something I could do quite easily, but I would want to have like transitions between the songs perhaps. Maybe that's not a good idea, but it's not like this is a formal album or anything. No, it's not called Twinkle. Who would have thought? Measure 69. Nice one. So, this song has a fill I should really change. What is it? The chord fill? That shouldn't be in there. Getting carried away. It's my favourite part of it was drum programming, I guess. But it means I could very easily get carried away with these ridiculous fills in songs that are very slow, like this one. Deity. This has no drums, but it has the same deal where I would have to change this, because this is just, it sounds ridiculous. I mean, maybe just take it an octave down, at the very least. My gosh, do I even remember how to adjust notes? Let me just see what that sound. What note is this? Listen to that. What is this? D sharp 8. Okay, forget about it, man. I mean, yeah, there was another twinkly sound, I suppose, but there's a limit. Is that the right note? Just see if this sounds better already. I mean, I think the whole pattern would need to be changed. I've just realised what I call this. Rayman-esque. Everything I ever made was some sort of rip-off or inspiration from something else. I could go through that alone. Even drum fills, you know. So this was... I don't know which part of Rayman, like the original Rayman it was. It's like the second last level or something. There's something that sounds a bit like this. Oh, this is... I mean, specifically like the first 4 notes of each measure here is a rip-off of some song from Rayman that I liked. I mean, that's about it. I don't think anything else in this song's a rip-off. These strings. These are some. This is some of my favorite thing I ever made with this string section, even though it's really simple. And then I always think of this one as like a proper Gran Turismo 4 chord. It sounds like when you get maybe a car, you buy a car, it comes with that sort of choral chord, I guess. I mean, it sounds a bit like this. This specific one, which is, I don't know, I'm assuming it's the same thing, just measured. And the last chord's actually pretty good too. I always liked that sort of layering of chords and making these dreamy, weird, unconventional ones. I don't like using just bog standard, C major. Who does? Ninth Man on the Moon. This was an interesting one. I was actually just gonna go through my new ones, but I like just looking at what I've done and seeing where it came from, So this one was, I just asked my friend to give me a string of 8 notes actually, but it gave me 9, so I said screw it, I'll make it 9/8, plus the title Ninth Man on the Moon, which is this bit at the top. The rest of it's just me trying to make it work, you know what I mean? Tabla, sure, if you want to call it that. And then Get Out of Here is the sort of, I don't know what you call this, breakbeat. Not really. I don't know if this was a rip-off of anything. I don't think it was. Yeah, that drum solo in there. And these ridiculous measures, like this 11/8 section, which is sort of not really 11/8. It's like this do, which is what? I don't even know how to count that. I guess it's 3/8 followed by 4/4. Oh, it's semantics. Oh, and my favorite thing ever. I don't even know what the name of these things is, but these drum endings, just where they do like a kick or something else. I love putting them in every song. I don't know what it is. I just like all the songs do it. There's so many, like nearly any rock song you can think of. Well, maybe not that far, but I'm certain you'll have heard a song that has that sort of thing at the ending. This is another one where I went too high as well, which I'd want to maybe adjust that in this bit here. Like, it's like dentist drill level. What are we up to? We're up to the 9s again. What's with my obsession of getting up to the 9s? There's no need for it. Okay. Corksed. This is a song I made really quick, but it's actually one of my favourites that I did. Notice most of my songs will have a bass/drums groove in it just on its own. I find that I'm pretty okay at making rhythm and like drums or bass lines, trying to make them not so stagnant, but when it comes to melody I do struggle a bit. I always end up going for this sort of lead synth. How do you solo? Shows how much I know. That's not it. Okay, whatever. But yeah, I always end up having that sort of wispy lead pattern. Not pattern, patch. And yeah, I don't know, I think there are better tones. Also, the thing with making instrumental songs with verses, choruses, is that I always end up just having one verse, because there's not really much point in playing the exact same thing twice. I guess I could put variations on it, but that's why so many of them just have solos, just for the sake of not being stagnant. This song's good though, I like this one. Trying to think. I don't think this was a rip-off of anything. Trying to think of the drum fills. I don't think any of these are strictly ripped off anything. Yeah, they're always so ridiculous. What is that? Flam. It's unnecessary, but I always liked doing it. I'm sorry if I mean, this is supposed to be a long form video to be fair, but I like just going through the drum fills because I know loads of them were just taken straight off other things. Maybe that was more in Pat Sajak 2. Like, if you know Pat Sajak 2 of Game Changer, like pretty much every single thing in that entire drum, what do you call it? In the drum track, like pretty much everything is ripped off of something else. Yeah, like what would you call this? Like a turnaround, maybe pre-chorus bit. I liked this in this song, and then this one has a drum solo too. My gosh, do I love doing them. I don't think anything from this drum solo is actually nicked off anything. It's a great beat, that. I do like it. I always like those sort of frantic ghosts all over the place drum beats, which I throw in a lot as well. Then it slows down. As I've aptly called slow down organ. And what's this one? Piano question mark? I made these songs a long time ago by now. Just stupid names. Extra lead, slow down. But I do like the way this song builds a lot. Or when I say build, I don't mean like tension, I mean like the actual layering of sounds. That's a good point. There's this thing here, this part in the drums that always shows up. Just simple eighth notes usually, open hi-hat and floor tom at the same time to build up. I always do that. Like most of my songs have this in. I don't know why these specifically, like typically you'd have maybe snare and floor tom. It's very stupid, but the reason I liked doing this was because I liked the way it looked on like Guitar Hero. I always remember, I think the song Never Too Late, it has that like yellow and green, and you play them at the same time, and I thought, well, that's rare, because I don't know, you know me, I like my oddities and charts and whatever the hell. And this is from inspiration from long ago. We're talking like whenever I was playing through drums, so 2014, I really don't know. But long-winded way of saying I liked the way it looked, so I decided to just do that instead of anything else, because I would be able to chart it that way. Probably stupid, but I think it sounds okay. And flams. Flams are underrated. I don't hear many people using flams, though. I don't listen to too many custom songs, I suppose. Just way better than just having single snares, though. Not much I can think of in terms of stuff that was in inspiration. Deity, I already went through that. Every star in the sky. I mean, this bass line. Oh, right, actually, yeah, there is one. This is a very specific one. These first two chords at the beginning, they're from a video by Bill Wirtz called Monday Trivia 2. If you watch that video, the last two chords of the video are these first two chords. Or actually, I think it might just be the first chord, and it's just this one. And so I decided to make a song starting with that. Listen to the bass line, sounds like I've just had the time of my life. At least that part. The rest of it may be a bit different. And of course, this is a song that had a few revisions. Well, one revision, major revision, because the original "Every Star in the Sky" was not very good. I don't think. Once again, looking for drum fills. I don't think there's much until maybe this one. No, and here it is again. I'm not lying when I say that. Here it is. Or half hi-hat this time. Fundamentally the same. And this solo is actually not bad. Once again, we get a bit over the top with this part. It's proper like metal drum fills, and then this insane orange wall, I guess we'd call it. There was one fill I was thinking of, but that comes later on actually. And this, yeah, this fill again. I love these double kicks. Always throwing a double kick. This one, I think, is sort of from Young Funk, maybe. It's sort of the pattern is, once again, inspired by a chart. So you imagine you play this on Guitar Hero drums, it would be. That's pretty simple. It's red, blue, green, so all of the tones, and then with the kicks underneath. And that's, you know, you could do that yellow, orange, or orange, yellow, either way. There's something like that in Young Funk at some point, and once again, I thought, why not put that in there? Don't think there's anything else nicked from this song. Maybe this is sort of inspired by Vital Signs at the end. You know, he does that double bass under the cymbals. Yeah, I mean, this is very specific drum fills I'm talking about. It's not quite that, because it's not double bass, but I feel like it might have been inspired by that. We have that ridiculous quad fill, and then there's actually nothing else. The twinkle. Actually, this last chord's pretty stupid. Once again, a case of just layering as many notes as I could. And what's this? By this time, the song's faded out, so I don't even know what this sounds like. If I just change it so we can actually hear it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious why I would fade that out, but it doesn't sound bad on its own. Eye to Eye in the Secret Room. Now this was one of the first songs I made, actually, wasn't it? So it's nearly 10 minutes. I think the idea was I wanted to make a really long song. This was originally going to be called, I think, Racist Undertones was going to be the name of the song, but I changed it to Mario 64 star name, I guess, because I don't know, it doesn't really, not really an ominous title. Eye to Eye in the Secret Room, maybe. It was just a name I liked, so I nicked it. It's not the only one. Looking at the other titles, actually, yeah, I didn't even think. Get Out of Here. That's another Bill Wirtz. He has a video called Get Out of Here that's like 2 seconds long, and so I decided to name a song after it. This other stuff is just names, but this one, Mario 64, starts off with that bass drum. Oh yeah, no. This song is a full-on rip-off of a Prebz song called I Don't Know Who Charlie Sheen Is. So it's about the same length, and the structure is very similar. Prebz is a bit more, I suppose, varied. It's not really repetitive, much like mine is, but a lot of this is completely, heavily inspired by it, starting with this bass bit. Mine's just on one note, but it's very similar. The drum beat is absolutely from that song. It's not even exactly the same, but like the fact that it's this, there's like the no fills, it's completely different from my main type of drum programming, which would be, you know, groove central with ghost notes. It's just flat out. And that's it. Very repetitive. Then, not really much to talk about. There's a solo again, which isn't bad. I always think these sort of solos sound ridiculous though, but I don't know. I didn't know what else to do, you know. I always thought that note choice was interesting, but it's followed by like the worst thing in the world, which is just these sustains. I didn't know what else to do. Those last three notes are okay. There's an interesting thing that goes on in this one. So we've got lead 1, which does its every third measure has this variation. You see it cuts out every third here. Now the reason for that, I know why, I'm just trying to figure out. How to make an example of this. I'm not going to save it, so it's not going to matter. So I'll try and demonstrate it by putting it here. You'll see what I mean. This sounded wrong to me, so I just cut it out. Or you can only undo once. Well, it doesn't really matter. Look at the title again, Ominous Pad. Okay, and this is where, like, if you really knew Preb and that song, you would possibly realize that it was a rip-off when it came to like this section here, with the, I guess, orchestral. Not really orchestral, but this completely quiet section that comes out of nowhere. I think this is a very nice section though. The sort of descending bass line. New bass, not bass at all. So yeah, this bit overall, one of my favourites I've made. This part now, Eye to Eye in the Secret Room, and then it returns back to it, much like I Don't Know Who Charlie Sheen Is does. And then we got the loud solo using FL Reaper, as if the Preb thing wasn't apparent enough. I do think this solo sounds a bit stupid at times. Some of it's okay, but some of it isn't. We got these trills. Maybe this was about the time rake tapping was coming into play, so I'm not sure. And then we have these massive breaks in the solo. I guess I wanted to keep it sparse, and it just ends. I wanted to make this song long, definitely. It ends up being about 9.5 minutes. But yeah, there's a bit of history with that one. Gigantic Nuclear Explosion. Random title again. This was one where, before I made any songs, I did this thing where I made just charts. Just completely random custom charts. With, you know, silly patterns and solos and the likes, and I sent them to some server and said, "Oh, here's a challenge: make a song out of this chart." And I think only one of those charts ended up being made by somebody else. But this is one of them that I sent over that I ended up making myself. This sort of blues thing, I guess, in 7 for a lot of it. I don't know if I have much to say about this song. There's double bass in it. I was like chucking these bits in. $15.4. Yeah, you see, these are artifacts of just making a silly chart and then trying to make it sound okay. And it does sound okay, but this is very, very awkward. It increases by 5 BPM per like beat, I guess. This sounded a bit ridiculous, and by the end it's just stupid. That's... I think... Yeah, that's the start of Space Road by Cassiopeia. Yeah, like, almost. It's the same rhythm. The notes are a little bit different, but... That's a rip-off. Then we got another one of those drum outro things. I really do love putting them in there. So, Learn a Drive. This is an odd one. Some of it's good, some of it's not great. Like this intro section's a bit odd. It's maybe not mixed correctly. Like, what is this? This doesn't look right. But yeah. Kind of awkward sounding. Are any of these fills nicked? That one definitely is. I don't know what it's from. This fill is definitely from something else. Where is it? Oh yeah, the pedal. Alright, yeah. I think it's a faster version of a fill in... What's it called? Cygnus X2 Book 2. The first song out of Hemispheres by Rush. It's a fill from that, about 16 minutes in. I know it. I know that it is. The first beat here is exactly the same, and then it does change a bit in the original fill, but it's definitely that. Okay. There it is again. That's Space Road again. And then... Okay. Okay. If we want to talk about Ripper, I mean, it's interesting to talk about this inspiration stuff. I feel like this one's pretty obvious. You probably guess it. So that's quite obviously Fall Play by Boston, right? Not as good, but yeah. This beginning bit wasn't inspired by that at all, but this bit here definitely was. It just happens at the very similar structure. Okay, and then we get into this bass groove part, which is where the song actually starts being okay by my eye. Some good fills in it actually. Not sure there were any rip-off fills in this actually, but this part sounds a bit like the Macarena, probably because it's all black keys, right? Yeah, I think you get the idea. Not written because of that, but it just happens to sound that way. Some good fills in this one. Not ripped off. Always that double bass in there. Where's the good one? There's a really ridiculous fill I made with hi-hats there. It's another case of me not being able to really think of a melody, so this one doesn't even have a verse melody, it's literally just the groove. This chorus section's okay with the rhythm changes. I'm sure that idea of having 4 cymbals in a row was taken from somewhere as well, but I can't think of what it is right now. I was trying to think of it the other day. We got this solo once again, just messing about on the blues scale. Oh yeah, and this rhythm, I guess, is on a number of songs. Probably Broadway Melody of 1974 by Genesis. It's the same rhythm. Pretty simple rhythm, to be fair, but yeah, it's definitely from there. I didn't even know that there were actually organ notes down here. Can't really hear them. Okay, and the whole song fades out. And then we got another pretty obvious inspiration. Whether this was actually inspired by Veil Part 2, I'm not sure. Or I guess just Veil of Illumination, right? It's only Rock Band Network that split them up. But I remember just messing about on, I guess this is the patch name, is Tex, or it's Tex something. Yeah, so I remember I had a note that just said Tex WT or something, because it's the characters WT on your keyboard. It makes this lovely sound. And so I just decided to once again build and build and build and build and build until we end up with this at the end. But that sort of descending octave thing is very Veil Illumination indeed. Ended up being a long song, a song in, I guess, 3 parts, maybe. I don't know how you'd split that up, but clearly the intro is very different to this part. Whether you would call this bit at the end its own, I don't know, but it lasts long enough. It's like a whole 2 minutes. Unnecessary. Elena Driver. Yeah, I wish I could remake that song. Because the potential's there. I don't think it's as good as it could be. Not so. Talk about rip-off. This one is literally just a carbon copy for a lot of it. So, you know me. Runabout 3. It was a huge inspiration, all through my life in fact. But this song from the Mission Shadow called The Riddle has this cool melody line, and well, that's this song. Namely this measure. That is exactly the same. I mean, to the note, to the inflection. The song structure is the same as The Riddle too, with this sort of turnaround part. Those are the clicks in the drums. Is it, if it's in here? Or is that a different track altogether? Yeah, this here I guess. Hip snap. Then this is a bit of a variation, but I knew what I was doing. And this is just ridiculous. Pretty sure all the drum fills there were original. And this is something else, this part. Like, if you saw the chart for this, it's so impossible it's not even funny. I don't know, I guess I just wanted to make it ridiculous. Fully random chords up here. Well, actually not totally random, looks like I just moved it all down a step. How did I just do that? Ah, yes, I remember. I don't know if this fill was ripped off or not. It's probably just from some metal song, if I had to guess. And then this one has exactly the same thing at the very end, so actually, by the time you get to this point, you've already heard it all. That's always good, though. I mean, the middle section is a bit stupid, but the rest of it's actually pretty nice. The Embassy / Suicide Issues palindrome there. Oh yeah, and I should point out actually before I move on. Natsuro is, I think, the Japanese word for riddle, so not really hiding behind much there. So the embassy, originally called the Pakistani Embassy actually, decided to remove that from the title. Not that it would have mattered. We got this sort of Phil Collins thing going on at the beginning. And then a different bass sound than I normally use actually. I think a pretty good intro actually. Just a shame the song doesn't really go anywhere. Not loads to say here. This organ tone is a bit harsh. I think we called it, what, mini synth? Yeah. Especially when it gets to like right here. Just too loud. Then clearly I just wanted to get some sort of ominous sounds here. Horrible sounds. Actually, looking at the chords themselves, where the hell is this stuff? Right at the bottom, right? Don't think this note's supposed to be here. Obviously, it's just so low that you would never be able to get the pitch out anywhere. So if I, for instance, took it, what starts off with G sharp, let's hear what this chord actually is. Okay, yeah, that's pretty rough. Or is that just because it's so high up? Wow, I wasn't expecting that. No, that's actually a pretty horrible chord. And then to make this stuff, I just once again put stuff high up and put it, you know, semitones right next to each other. What's all this before? Oh, we've got the hidden stuff, the stuff that actually got cut out. I don't even know about this. Let's hear. looks a hell of a lot more complicated. It's not really what you need when you have this sort of synth patch. Also, it's way too high register to really have any effect. Sounds like cricket noises. Dog whistles. Okay, yeah, I can see why I cut that. It sounds stupid. Wow, it's incredible how much better the second part is. Right at the end. The only way to make the worst noise possible, just every note. It really does sound bad. Because you're having every single possible clash you can have. Decent song. Not loads happens in it, that's the only issue. What happens behind closed doors? This was another one I made pretty quickly, and I think it ended up being one of the best. Not much movement, it's the same chord progression the whole way, but the drums bring this one to life. This was another one where I actually originally made a random chart, but I ended up changing the chart a lot anyway and just basically writing a completely different solo, so that chart's lost to time, unfortunately. Originally the song was going to be called Tahajili, you know, that the New Mexico bit off Breaking Bad. But instead it's called What Happens Behind Closed Doors. I don't really know why. Just named the song. I see it. I feel like pretty much all the drum stuff here. Oh no, it definitely isn't all original. Maybe the fills are. Some of these fills are really good too. Right, this beat is a rip-off, pretty much, of Backwards Marathon by Between the Bird and Me. It's not exactly the same, but those accented notes, I'm pretty sure, are the same. I do like the sound of this song, even if it is very simple. I think one of the best fills is right here. Just a very simple simple and straight to the point. I always like those ones. Then we got these time signatures that are, I guess, just to throw in some variation, but I really liked that I decided to actually go all the way and make it sound really creepy at the end, actually. This is one of the best parts of any of my songs, I think, right at the end. Although maybe that little drop down on the lead is not actually my favourite. Could have ended that a bit better. And then of course we got this. Have to have something like that. I'm pretty sure that's exactly the same as Pat Sajak 2. That's all the ones that I had on, quotes, album 1. Some of this stuff I have nothing to say, like background beat. I made this for one of my videos and it didn't even end up on the video. So it's not really worth talking about. Breathtaking View from the Bridge. Another Super Mario 64 star name. This is when I was using this Sakura synth. I don't really know what instrument that really is. The name would suggest sort of Japanese, or sort of something between a shamisen and, is that dulcimer? I'm not sure. I love that also. Just couldn't think of anything to call it, so I just called it Next. I mean, I didn't know that. I just was stumbling upon this stuff. Another thing that I seem to have a habit of doing is these ride symbol. Starting off with the drums, the rides accenting the rhythm, and then eventually get into the actual beat. It is good, this part though. This is one of the better parts of any songs. Though this lead is still too loud. The bass line sounds a bit familiar, but I don't think it's a direct rip-off of anything. This chord progression is nice. The solo in there would be better if it just didn't sound so harsh. Like if this was an actual guitar solo, then maybe it would actually sound good, but it's too harsh on the ears. And let's go to the mixing desk. Just turn the sub down. Just turn it all the way off. The thing is though, it has to be loud enough to be the loudest instrument, and the thing is, just with the nature of this synth patch and the distortion, is that it's gonna sound harsh, so I would have to adjust the actual distortion itself probably. Because I'm such an amateur with that sort of thing, I just didn't really know what to do. And so we end up with this. Just briefly gonna look at the fills. Oh, yep, you're never too far away. Open hi-hats this time. Also the distorted bass, sometimes I chuck that in there just if I want to make it dramatic, I guess. I'm pretty sure the fills are all unique. I mean, no doubt that's been done before. Also, this song just sort of peters out. But I think the chord at the end is probably the right choice. It's kind of like a plagal cadence, no? I won't pretend I know that much about theory, but it sounds kind of sort of heavenly to me, no? Espace, named after a toy Renault Espace I had a long time ago that I ended up breaking for some reason. I ended up smashing it up, so I sort of felt bad about it, so I made this song in an ode to it, I guess. Prog song. Wouldn't normally make a song quite so long, maybe. I don't think it's perfect. At the time, I really liked it. Now, there are things I would change about it. Something about the drum sound doesn't sound quite right to me. Alright, this piano intro is good though. Once again though, I think this has... it bears a lot of resemblance to some, like, Between the Buried and Me piano songs, like... Silent Flight Parliament? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, Silent Flight Parliament, I think. I wouldn't say it's a rip-off, but it sounds a lot like it. Still, I think this piano bit's pretty good, actually. Intro solo. Once again, getting too carried away. Like, surely there's something else I could have put here that would have sounded a bit better. Also, there were a lot of these, like, sort of, where you would, on an actual piano, like, slide your hand down. And they sound a bit awkward to me. The tone itself is odd. The solo notes are okay. There's been something that's mystified me for a long time. I think it might be this synth patch, but there's this sort of like, no, it can't be. Like, just listen. It should just be the sound of this fading out and the synth, but it isn't. There's this other sound. Ah, there. Do you hear it? It's sort of isolated. So what is that? It must be this then. But why does it only happen then? I really don't know. Something about the tempo maybe? But anyway, then we have this stuff in 5/4, which I don't think was ripped off anything. Overdriven synth. No, this is, I didn't even know this was in it. It's just supposed to be stereo sound, I think. So is the drum sound actually different? Oh yeah, so it was. Fruity compressor too. Of course, this is the right track, isn't it? Yeah, so the drum sound isn't how it should be. If I were to do this now, I would be using a different compressor actually. What would I be using? It's been so long. I thought it was Fruity Compressor, but it had some presets. Oh yeah, Leveler 2 I would be using. Maybe that was already on actually. But I'd also be using this reverb and just chucking the default on. That would make it sound, because I actually give it reverb, that's what it's missing. But it's not going to sound right because it was already programmed in a way to make it sound different. I think this overflowing fill was ripped off something. I don't know what it was. Ah, it's on the tip of my tongue. I know I took it from somewhere. I definitely didn't come up with that on my own, surely. If not directly from something, it was inspired by something for sure. Just looking around here, anything else to comment on? Okay, I gotta take this thing off. See, that's just completely screwed the drum sound up for some reason. Oh, this might be an obscure one. So this sort of 4-note pattern, just this. Now, you can't really rip that off on anything, but I'm pretty sure at the time I was thinking of, and this is super specific, there's this guy called Bill Bachman, who's like a tenor drum soloist, and he has this one called Ubiquitous Illness, and it starts off with just a, and I think I may have been channeling that when I made all this. Obviously it's not quite so simple and it sort of overflows in the measures or whatever. But yeah, if that was based on anything, it would have been that, I think. For the longest time this song ended here, and I had nothing else. But then I decided to chuck into the solo in. And this is probably better than the intro, so let me be fair. These sort of, you know, delayed cymbals I would always like to throw in sometimes as well. Where are we? Right, okay. I don't know exactly what that's from. Maybe a bit the Mars Volta, maybe a bit Metallica actually. Quad fill, of course. That's a very dry flam now. Okay, I've really screwed up this drum sound. And just to properly drive the point home, I just had that rhythm again. And you'll notice there's another track here that just says top notes. That was because I think it's sort of... how do you describe it? It travels between the notes as opposed to actually alternating them. If I just put it here, you might understand what I mean. So that's... okay, this here. Hear what it sounds like. Yeah, it sounds terrible. That's why we have a separate track for it. And then it goes into this, and this is a song... Ooh. This is another Preb thing, actually. So, the title of the song is explicit, so I won't say it, but begins with a C and ends with a CK. But I'm pretty sure it's a very similar, if not the same, chord progression as these chords, actually. This is very long and drawn out. We'll see more examples of the ride, accenting everything. Going into an admittedly simple beat this time. Alright, I think these strings are straight out of the Preb song. Oh, they may be. It's similar either way. There were some cool effects I did on the drums here. Well, not really effects, but just little embellishments. With this sort of... like, reverb on this singular note. Just a little tiny little thing to throw in there. There was a fill that I don't know if it was actually taken from anything, but it might be. At the same time, it might have been original. But yeah, it just repeats over and over again. This was originally going to be like the opening song to an album, but obviously I haven't even compiled the first album, so this would be the first song of the second. But it wouldn't really follow in the same style as this song, because originally it was going to be like, you know, they all flowed into each other or whatever the hell, but it's obviously so ambitious. We got this very sparse ending, which I kind of like actually. But anyway, yeah, Espace, I really liked it at the time. Flow like water. There was an closing this project. Okay. Parts of this I like, parts of it I don't like. Maybe we can't play Flow Like Water and it's lost to time. And check that's not the RAM. Okay, I have a feeling this is because I'm taking up too much space on my computer, so I'm going to end this here now. Perhaps I'll record a part 2. I like doing this. I really don't care if anybody watches this at all. I just like making videos. What can I say?